NC State won the toss and deferred, so Syracuse will receive the opening kickoff with Trevor Pena. And Syracuse this season has wanted to go on offense, and they have been productive early on this year. Colin Smith to boot it away, and up we go from Syracuse, New York. Out of bounds, and a penalty on the kickoff will give Syracuse fine field position. So we get a look at this Syracuse offense, and Garrett Schrader completing 71% of his passes. He's already thrown more TD passes this year than last year, and he can do it on the ground as well.
Yeah, he's an excellent runner, and a runner first, but the improvement in the passing game has been so significant, Mike, that I think he's going to be treated a little bit differently as a passer this season.
Tucker split out wide left, and the first pass is complete. It's Devon Cooper, the seventh-year senior, 24-year-old, and he's one of the guys in the wide receiver mix, but the big focus for NC State is 19 Gadsden.
Yeah, 19 Gadsden in the passing game. That being said, you already get a sense from Robert and I to open up the game in empty. This is a team that has Sean Tucker in the backfield, and they open the game in empty.
Now Tucker beside Schrader. Over the middle, there's Gadsden. Right on cue, it's a first down. Derek Pitts made the stop, the leading receiver for the Orange.
Yeah, and Gadsden basically just going to run a little bit of an underneath route, and as they bring Tucker to the outside, there's a bit of a void and a good accurate throw, which is what we've seen from Garrett Schrader right between the 1 and the 9.
Position change for Gadsden this year as a sophomore. Lines up in the slot quite a bit. First run, and it's Tucker. Breaks a tackle. Sean Tucker to the outside. And Tucker is dragged down near the 10 on a saving tackle by Drake Thomas.
Listen, Sean Tucker just is able to find a crease here. It's kind of good blocking to the perimeter, and then he just kind of puts his foot in the ground and gets up the field. Then you end up having a missed tackle by Derek Pitts down the field, and then Tucker's able to extend the run.
And he goes off the field a little bit slowly, a guy who forces so many missed tackles. We got to keep an eye on this with Tucker on the sidelines. LaQuint Allen, the freshman, comes in. Schrader runs, and he is stacked up. Drake Thomas and Isaiah Moore, part of this excellent NC State defense.
Yeah, running the ball on NC State is not easy. It's why it's kind of unique to see Sean Tucker rip off that run earlier, but they are a stout group up front, and running it, usually you're fighting for every yard.
Tucker's been nicked up a couple of times this year, including before the bye week against Wagner. Free play and a shot to the end zone, and caught by Gadsden. Touchdown Syracuse, what a start.
Look, it's a really good job by Garrett Schrader. He's understanding how to play the position. He's got a free play because of jump off sides, and I think Gadsden gets away with a bit of a push-off to create space on Pitts, and then does a nice job just adjusting to the ball. But what a start for Syracuse.
Yeah, you cannot script it any better in just over 2 minutes for the Orange. Andre Schmidt, the point after, at 6'5", Aronde Gadsden has this place ready to erupt in a top 20 showdown. Syracuse with a fast start, and how about Garrett Schrader? He was 17 for 17 the last game against Wagner, and he remains perfect.
Listen, to complete 20 straight passes against defenses in college football is hard to do. Look, I've seen pros not be able to do that in 7-on-7 or even routes on air. The fact that Garrett Schrader has been that efficient when it really is not even his best quality as a quarterback is remarkable.
Brady Denneberg with a touchback. So NC State in an early hole, and we told you we're going to see both quarterbacks behind Devin Leary, Jack Chambers. He told us, yeah, it's definitely crazy to be starting this game. Came on in relief against Florida State. He said the best feeling I've ever experienced in college football.
And the appreciation he has for it is something that is special. A 25-year-old walk-on that is now the starting quarterback for the number 15 team in the country is quite an opportunity.
5 years at Charleston Southern, FCS level, on in relief Saturday against Florida State, and now here against number 18 in the country. Conservative on the ground on first down with Jordan Houston stacked up by Deuce Chestnut. How do you think they call the game with these guys at quarterback?
Well, you know, the reality is Chambers is a much better runner and more willing runner than Devin Leary. Now, not nearly as competent as a passer, and so because of that, I think we're going to see a heavy dose of the run game, and I think we'll see Jack Chambers using his legs quite a bit.
Saw Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator. He's down on the field for this one. DeMarcus Jones, one of a couple of running backs in there, makes it 3rd and short. Kayvon Darton, the defensive tackle, on the stop.
And you see, Mike, you know, the first 2 plays runs. Staying on schedule is going to be important for Tim Beck, offensive coordinator for NC State, because now you have the ability to both run and pass on a 3rd and 3. Not have a known drop back situation on 3rd and long.
Listen to this place. It is rabid. MJ Morris in for his first snap in his 2nd collegiate game at quarterback. And pre-snap movement, and 3 flags fly.
Before the snap, false start, offense, number 52.
And listen, the noise is deafening. The last thing that NC State wanted is to run out a true freshman quarterback and have an illegal procedure penalty. Jack Chambers now back in the lineup at quarterback with exactly what I described that this offense does not want, which is a known passing situation.
4 receivers to the top of the screen for Chambers back in there ahead of 3rd down and 8. 4-man rush, quick throw, and dropped by Houston. And NC State has to punt.
And it's a good stop for Syracuse, but offensively, I think there's some things that NC State is going to have to figure out. You know, can you put MJ Morris in on a 3rd down when this place is absolutely rocking and communication is paramount? Or do you have to keep Jack Chambers in the game on 3rd down so you don't end up kind of hurting yourself? I think there was a lot to be learned in that first drive for NC State.
Shane McDonough to punt. Trevor Pena back to return. And a signal at the 20, and a fair catch by Pena on a 53-yard punt from McDonough. Good start for Syracuse at home.
Off to a really good start. This is a 5-0 football team that just marched down the field in their opening drive.
2nd possession, a swing pass for Sean Tucker, and a good sure-handed tackle by Aiden White. NC State is going to need to lean on its defense.
Yeah, they are going to need to lead on the defense, and Aiden White really in the starting lineup because Jaheim Battle's out the first half with a targeting penalty from a week ago, and Aiden White's a really good player, makes a nice play on the perimeter there.
This defense was huge. Dave Doran said spectacular in the 2nd half in the win over Florida State on Saturday. Schrader, diving bid and incomplete. Intended for Trevor Pena, and it brings up 3rd down and 16.
There's that first incompletion, just kind of misses outside the body of Pena. And, you know, Garrett Schrader, almost like, you know, having a no-hitter, Mike. You know, you complete 20 and 21 in a row, really. Maybe good to get that one out of the way.
And now Schrader on 3rd down and long. Time to throw. Downfield, incomplete, lot of contact, and no flag. Damian Alford, the intended target, and a 3-and-out forced by NC State.
Yeah, and really surprised that there was a no call there, because contact is clearly before the football gets there by Boykin, and maybe they're just saying that ball was uncatchable because where it was thrown. A good stop by that NC State defense. You know, I think one of the things they don't want to have to do is play from behind. And with the way the opening drive went, I think that was a critical stop. You look back a week ago, it was a rough first half defensively against Florida State. Better response.
Short punt by Max von Marburg, the freshman punter from Wagga Wagga, Australia. Only 36 yards, and NC State on its second possession will have it right at midfield.
Yeah, and then just to kind of finish the point, you know, Syracuse has been really good at, you know, not being a team that goes 3-and-out. And so to get the quick 3-and-out after how the opening drive went offensively for NC State, and then come up with this type of field position to try to settle down the quarterback situation, I think ends up being a pretty significant break for the Wolfpack.
Who send out Jack Chambers to start drive number 2. Dave Doran said to us he didn't want it to be separated by drives because you don't want the confidence to ebb and flow with that. So MJ Morris will be sprinkled in throughout drives, as we saw on that first series. On the ground with Houston on first down to start.
And Mike, to that point about, hey, not just giving MJ Morris an individual drive, I think it's a great plan by Dave Doran. Rather than putting all the pressure on one drive that could be a 3-and-out, maybe MJ Morris plays 20 snaps, but they're sprinkled in throughout the game, and there's going to be some good and some bad that comes along with it.
And again, Beck has been up in the booth. He's now down on the field. MJ Morris wanted Beck down on the field. He was still debating it as of last night. On a screen for Thayer Thomas, leading receiver. He's tackled by Marlowe Wax, and it brings up third down for the Pack.
And I think throws like that are going to be what Tim Beck is comfortable calling at the beginning of this football game. Kind of safe throws, kind of extensions of your run game. That's why staying on schedule is important for this offense, because this gets loud on third down.
Third down and 5 for Chambers. Over the middle and caught by Ced Sebro, a little bit short of the line to gain. Needed the 41.
Yeah, and I think here, with it 4th and short, I expect North Carolina State to go for it. The way that they've played kind of aggressively all season, and I think Dave Doran has kind of been pretty clear, kind of in no man's land situations. 4th and 1, they're going to lean on the guys inside, Grant Gibson and the 2 big guards, probably to run the football.
2 tight ends for the Wolfpack. On 4th down and 1, it's Houston with a first down conversion, and much needed for NC State.
And really what they want to do is the guys inside. It's Grant Gibson, it's Chandler Zavala, and it's Dylan McMahon. And look at Zavala and the movement that he gets. Left guard kind of washing it down. That's on a 4th and 1 play, and you can see why they're excited about the transfer from Fairmont State, who was injured a year ago. Does a great job of getting movement.
Yeah, 64 and white, Chandler Zavala, the 6th-year player. Play action. Chambers pressured, eludes Wax. And Chambers can run, and he turns it into something. 8 yards, 2nd down and 2.
And Mike, that was a bit of what we saw at Jack Chambers a week ago against Florida State. You know, probably had some opportunities down the field. At the same time, if he's not totally confident in it and how he's seeing it, he's more than comfortable to pull it down and take off and run.
He did not complete a pass. He caught a ball in that game, in a win in the second half for NC State. Thayer Thomas in motion, always a threat to throw. Here is Houston. And he picks up a first down. You mentioned the interior of the offensive line for NC State. They match up with Syracuse and its defensive line small.
Yeah, and Syracuse on their defensive line, they're small and active. They slant, they move, try to use the quickness to their advantage. But what NC State has to their advantage is it's a big group up front. It's an experienced group up front. You see the size discrepancy, and they play well together.
It's been two of the best defenses in the country, the two best scoring defenses in the conference. Chambers pulls it and tumbles forward back to the line of scrimmage.
You know, when he pulls it, I think he should have given that ball to Houston. I think he has the read. You know, that's one of the things that NC State will do. The quarterback will read it quite a bit. It's an offense that, you know, runs plenty of RPOs and things of that nature. A lot of decision making by the quarterback, which is a departure from what Jack Chambers did at Charleston Southern. You know, a lot of air raid concepts, a little more thinking out of the quarterback here at NC State.
Former captain and all-conference player there. He's under pressure as they set up the screen for Houston. And Jordan Houston takes it inside the 10. And boy, has Houston been busy early on in the first.
Yeah, and Jack Chambers does a great job with it. They're selling a wide route to Thayer Thomas to try to get the defense to expand. But then they're going to release offensive linemen. You're going to have a cross screen to Houston. And Chambers does a great job of just giving ground to allow time to get that football off to Houston. Well-timed play call by Tim Beck.
18 yards on the screen. Now first and goal for the Wolfpack from the 7. Ninth play of the drive to Marcus Jones. Bottled up. Right into that defensive line of Syracuse. And Kayvon Darton, the former walk-on the stop.
You know, when it's in areas like this, when you're playing a fast defense, which certainly Syracuse has, where things happen faster, things are condensed, and so the ability to run the ball still inside the 10-yard line ends up being critical, because now you're trusting Jack Chambers to play against, you know, a fast defense down in the red zone.
Running back Demi Sumo Karngbe was a game-time decision with an ankle injury. We have not seen him yet. Jones again, and now third down and goal coming up for NC State.
You know, it's in scenarios like this where it really becomes critical to try to figure out, okay, how do you trust Jack Chambers in this environment? Yes, he's played a lot of football, but it's noisy in here. Can you call a pass and trust him to protect your 3 points with the field goal? I would expect them to get him on the move. As a shorter quarterback, the last thing you want is some type of tip on a throw in the middle of the field.
Tim Beck said it's got to be perimeter throws with the 5'10" Jack Chambers. Play clock winding down on Chambers. Chambers under pressure, takes off with it, and Jack Chambers goes down at the 3-yard line. Leon Lowry the stick, 4th down and goal. And here comes Chris Dunn.
And I think sending out the field goal unit is a smart move by Dave Dorn here. Obviously, they go for it on 4th down earlier. But the reason I said, you go back a week ago, Mike, down 14 against Florida State, you know, they kind of fought back, and it was field goals at the end of the game and great defense, which I think still remains the game plan for NC State in terms of the entirety of the game.
Veteran kicker off maybe the best game of his career, remains perfect on the season. And from 20 yards, NC State is on the board here in the first.
Hey, back to my guys, Mike and Tim.
All right, Jordan, yeah, a ton of returning quarterbacks in the ACC this year, including Garrett Schrader. Year one with a new offensive coordinator and Robert Anai. And boy, they marched down the field on their first possession, then 3 and out on their second time. And with the lead here in the first quarter, we'll get the football. What impact has Robert Anai made?
Well, he runs a diverse offense, and he's creative, yet it's simple for their guys. But he does a great job of getting guys open, causing confusion. Here's Rondé Gadsden earlier in the year against Louisville. Here's Gadsden again against Purdue. Finding ways to design guys free, especially versus man coverage, confusing to the defense. And I think that by doing that, it's one of the reasons we've seen Garrett Schrader, his completion percentage rise so much. You know, you go back a year ago, just over half of his passes. This year, he's been remarkable in terms of how efficient he's been as a passer.
Flag down at the end of a 2-yard run from Sean Tucker as Peyton Wilson made the tackle for the Wolfpack.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 11, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Tack on 15.
Wilson, who's a really good player, just kind of up high on Tucker. And but to finish up on Robert Anae, who comes from Virginia, obviously was very creative with what he was doing at Virginia and has moved players around, and quarterbacks have played well under him. You think about experience with guys like Taysom Hill and Bryce Perkins, and I think he's doing a similar thing with Garrett Schrader.
Who looks to the air, to the sideline for Gadsden, who drops it. Made the adjustment, drops the pass. Devin Boykin in coverage.
Yeah, look, that could have gone either way. You know, Gadsden's covered. I was surprised he threw this ball, and then, Gadsden does a great job of reacting to the football. I thought he got away with a bit of a push-off on the touchdown. Does a nice job of kind of being subtle with his hands as he's fighting to come back for the ball, and almost made a great play for Schrader.
Top target for Garrett Schrader in this Robert Anae offense. On second down, just 4 for NC State, and there's Gadsden. Sure-handed this time inside the 40 in the plus territory. A gain of 24.
And just running an inside fade on Tanner Ingle, and Ingle does a great job flying around, but man-to-man coverage, especially against a bigger wide receiver, look at the separation he's able to create. And look, if I'm Tony Gibson already, I'm probably thinking of, hey, how can I double Rondé Gadsden, because we can't cover him right now.
Tucker weaving and diving for a first down, and Peyton Wilson came in late. Tucker takes a shot up high and slow to get up.
Slow to get up, and Sean Tucker has kind of been playing through some dings. Watch at the finish of this run. He's down, and Peyton Wilson is up high, hit to the head, and then down to the ground. And I wouldn't be surprised if they stop this to look at targeting.
Crowd wanted at least a late hit on Peyton Wilson. Tucker to the sideline, and the true freshman LaQuint Allen, 20 in blue, back in. Schrader, right side, Gadsden again. Toe tapping for a first down, working on Tanner Ingle yet again.
Yeah, it's Ingle once again. It's a fake wide receiver screen, and then up the sideline to Gadsden. And I'll say it again, he needs more attention if you're Tony Gibson, I believe, because right now he's become a problem for the secondary of NC State.
4 for 58, and that is great to see. If you're a Syracuse fan, Sean Tucker returns. Final minute of this opening quarter in a top 20 tussle between NC State and Syracuse. Gadsden lined up in the backfield. Schrader takes off. And they will do plays like that a lot with draws, with one look and go for Garrett Schrader in the run game.
Well, and think about this. They get into unbalanced to the left. They bring Gadsden into the backfield, who, by the way, is a tight end, receiver, whatever you want to call him. And then they run the quarterback to the unbalanced, to the side, to the open side, not the unbalanced side. That is some of the creativity and the challenge that you get facing a Robert Anae called offense.
Tucker, nowhere to go. Sturdy defense from NC State. Ball popped out at the end of it as Tucker worked back to the line of scrimmage. Tanner Ingle to stop. And that will take us to the end of this first quarter. Whole lot of anticipation for this one. Fast start for Syracuse. NC State shorthand. Back in Syracuse, Aronde Gadsden II has had a breakout sophomore season. He has been big already. And he and the Orange come out to start the second quarter with 3rd down and 5 from the 6-yard line. 8th play of the drive for the Orange. Schrader to Tucker out of the backfield, shoved out by Aiden White, and it brings up 4th down for Syracuse.
And I'll tell you, with the quarterback situation on the other side, if I'm Dino Babers, I think I'm going for this. To have Jack Chambers and MJ Morris backed up, I'd go for it. To me, student section down in this area, band down in that area, if you don't get it and turn the ball over on downs, you've got a young quarterback or an inexperienced quarterback playing with this offense in a loud environment backed up. I think I'd have gone for it.
Instead, Dino Baber sends out Andre Schmidt, the former Groza Award winner. Play clock is winding down on Syracuse. Schmidt gets it off and is good. So, conservative with that decision, but Schmidt connects for the Orange.
Look, taking the points, I'm sure every coach is going to be happy taking the points, and you think about a defensive battle. That being said, I just think that some of the early struggles we've seen with this crowd and young, inexperienced quarterbacks playing in this offense, and then also where you are in the stadium, Mike, being backed up with the student section, right there. I think taking that into consideration, especially with how the quarterback has played, how it's been hard to cover Aronde Gadsden, I think I'd have been aggressive there.
And to contrast it with how NC State approached the second half of last week's game with Jack Chambers in there for the injured Devin Leary, you love Dave Doran's game management of that one.
Yeah,
number 96.
Look, if you think about NC State offensively, even before the Devin Leary injury, they had to sustain 9, 10-play drives to score. They were not a quick strike offense. And so, look, the fact that you have a good defense and you would be defending 95-plus yards, I think just taking those things into consideration are why I would have been aggressive.
So 10-3, the Syracuse lead on NC State. We go down to Kelsey.
Well, we saw Coach Beck and Coach Doran talking on the sidelines after that last possession from this NC State offense. We know Coach Beck is down here so he can be closer to his quarterbacks and talk to them directly, but he's got another coach helping him, and that is Devin Leary down here on the sidelines, who they said they fully expected him to be in there helping as much as he could. You guys, he has a small notepad. He is standing down here since the beginning of the game, writing down all kinds of things, a red pen, and keeping an eye especially on the defense. He's usually on the other side of the box, then coming over and talking with NJ and Jack, trying to help them however he can.
Throws righty, writes lefty.
And probably good if you're headed to have surgery on your right pec that you can write left-handed. Keep up with the schoolwork.
Surgery Tuesday again for Devin Leary. Chambers is blasted at the 20. He gets popped by Garrett Williams.
I'm not sure it's a good decision to keep the ball on the read by Jack Chambers. I think you should give the ball to the back here, and as he's trying to get to the perimeter, there's just defenders in his way, and because he's trying to fight off through contact, Mikel Jones, he just gets blasted at the end of that run.
And now Garrett Williams is down after he finished off Chambers. Williams, the redshirt junior, all-ACC quarterback who has made a boatload of big plays this season. Chandler Zavala headed off toward the locker room as well. We'll get you some updates when we hobbled as he goes off the field. That would be a major loss for the Orange.
Major loss. He's been playing with so much confidence, and really their best corner. Be a big-time loss.
Isaiah Johnson comes in, 20 in blue, to replace him. On second down, complete to Ced Sebro. He has already matched his season total in catches today.
Yeah, and you see Williams right here. He comes in and finishes the tackle on Chambers. And I initially thought that he got up, but it was a big collision. Yeah, he gets up, but I think it was a lower leg issue that he was dealing with as he left the field. You needed to take pressure off it. Now you got a big third down for NC State.
The Wolfpack 0 for 3 on third down so far. They need 7. Chambers rifles. Incomplete. Coverage from Jason Simmons. The pass breakup to bring up fourth down.
And it's a really good play by Jason Simmons because this ball's actually well thrown to Brooks to the sideline. Maybe a tad late, but ball's good location. It's just Simmons with a great defensive play, not letting the offhand get in the way, be able to bat that football away at the sideline.
So it's been almost exclusively Jack Chambers, save for that one snap for MJ Morris. We asked Tim Beck, ideally, how much would you play him? He said, I mean, best case scenario, 20 to 25 snaps, but since that third down, it's been all Chambers.
And I think you have to find the opportunities, you know, not backed up, not off schedule. You know, it was second and forever, and so when that happens, it's hard to make substitutions at quarterback.
Trevor Pena brought down at the 40. Well, the NC State defense was fabulous in the second half last week.
You know, I think these coaches at NC State demand a lot. And, you know, the first half was a disaster against Florida State. The second half was tremendous. And they make a few plays that turn that football game around. And talking to them in preparation this week, they were pleased. You know, and I don't think that I've seen that often out of Dave Dorn and Tony Gibson, but it was a complete effort on the defensive side at every level of the defense. And, you know, they were preaching details, and it was details that turned that game around.
Schrader tucks, and Schrader finds running room. Out toward the 50, picks up 9.5, stopped by Cyrus Fagan, and already at midfield.
And I think this is one of the challenges you get. It looks like a pass. These guys are going to pass set. They're all pass set. But then watch them release for the quarterback draw. I mean, everything looks pass, and then now you end up with a lead draw. It's just so hard to defend, especially when you have a quarterback that's completing 70% of his passes, not to truly honor the look of in threat of pass on first down.
And Schrader, he will finish some runs. Quick throw, that's complete. Max Mang, the 6'7" tight end from Germany with his 4th career catch.
Yeah, and he's not involved much in the passing game, but what Robert Anai is doing is he is finding ways to make it simple. A little stick route by the tight end, a wide route to a back, and now for the quarterback it is, does that flat defender get width? If he does, easy decision to throw the stick route to the tight end.
So it is simplified from a quarterback's perspective.
It is, and I think that's one of the things that Robert Anai is doing so well.
Quick decision, Schrader runs, he gets hit and dropped by Peyton Wilson and gets 5 yards.
And then this is what Garrett Schrader is doing really well. Doesn't like it, first look, not crazy about it. I'm gonna take off and run with the football. And those are the things, in terms of how you try to defend it, that becomes such a challenge for defenses, because accounting for the quarterback scramble ends up being hard unless you have a spy.
So Syracuse has marched inside the 40 in plus territory. Fake to Tucker, Schrader keeps, and tripped up by Drake Thomas to bring up third down. Thomas, who had a monster performance for that NC State defense last week.
Monster performance a week ago, makes a good play on Schrader, but if you're living in 3rd and 1 with this offense, Robert Anai is going to feel good about it with as multiple as they've been, and then also the matchups that they can create with Arondé Gadsden in the passing game.
Pressure coming, Tucker running, and he is right near that first down line, stacked up by Peyton Wilson. Very close and perhaps short for Tucker.
Yeah, and I was surprised with that spot because I initially thought that they had marked him for a first down. Official kind of came in and overruled it a bit. Now 4th and short, and again, yeah, you know, look at the line's in here, and Tucker just kind of throws his way into that hole, and I think he kind of starts to fall forward, and as that was originally kind of marked at the bottom of the screen.
Corner was stopped short of the line of game. This previous play is under further review.
We'll see if it's a first down or fourth down when we come back. Back at Syracuse, the call stands. Sean Tucker short of the line to gain on a third down run, brings up fourth down.
Yeah, and I'm a bit surprised because I thought Tucker did a good job of just kind of getting skinny originally and then pushing forward. It needs to get to the 33-yard line. To me, it appeared that he got there. It wasn't marked that way. And I like this decision by Dino Babers on 4th and inches. And look, also be alert for Robert and I. He's been known to, in some of these situations with a quarterback in shotgun, to have somebody else line up under center and go for the quarterback sneak.
Big Wes Ho, 275 pounds. Hand in the ground to the left of Schrader. Might have jumped early. Schrader converts, but a flag down, and this will be a costly false start.
Costly false start is right, Mike, because now I don't think you can go for it.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 47, 5-yard penalty, fourth down.
And to me, you know, it was a few guys. Yes, it's the fullback going early, but the whole left side of that offensive line, it seemed to be a little quick as well.
So you think about it for Syracuse. They thought they maybe converted with Tucker, then the penalty, and now NC State's getting the football back down by 7.
That's a brutal swing for the Orange, because I did think they had the first down on third down, and then to have the illegal procedure penalty changes everything.
Max von Marburg with a kick that lands inside the 5. And Syracuse trying to keep that out with Devon Cooper. And a touchback. So big swing indeed. And NC State down 7 gets it back.
Well, Mike, big swing there, and then big swing here as well. You know, Cooper is in position. You know, his feet are in the end zone. That's fine. He can do that. You just can't let the ball break the plane. And he's probably going to pin NC State down there if he's just able to make enough contact with that ball right away, get it the first time, and now you have this struggling NC State offense pinned at the 1-yard line. So the last 3 plays, basically, for Syracuse, just missed opportunities.
So now NC State back with it. 58 yards of offense so far for the Wolfpack on 17 plays, 11 of them runs, and whistles, and a flag on the far side of the field.
False start, offense number 54, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Down to Kelsey for an update.
Well, guys, Syracuse captain and starting cornerback Garrett Williams is still in the tent. I've seen the medical personnel coming in and out, trying to get different supplies, and then going back in. It's a huge hit to them. As I mentioned, he's a captain, and their defensive coordinator said he's a guy who seeks knowledge that makes him good. If you sneak up on him and check his phone, they say he's definitely always watching football, so a guy who's all in, still in the tent right now.
Big injury for Syracuse. MJ Morris on the ground on a first down run. His second snap, freshman from Carrollton, Georgia. His only experience this year against Charleston Southern and FCS opponents.
Yeah, and you can see it looks different with MJ Morris as a runner. Just, you know, a bigger, stronger player at 6'2", 192. And seeing him on the field beforehand, to be honest with you, I think he's probably put on a little bit more weight.
Yep.
Good physical run on 1st and 15.
He's got 4 inches on Jack Chambers as well. Second down, flag flies, pass complete. On the short throw to Darryl Jones. We'll check the marker. Keon Lassane had some pre-snap movement.
Illegal motion, offense number 15, moving forward at the snap, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Yeah, Keon Lassane is just goes in motion, and you know, you're used to things timing up a certain way when, you know, there isn't crowd noise. But now there's crowd noise, and that's just, you know, lack of attention to the details by Keon Lassane. And You got a new quarterback in. It's the small little things there. And, you had a big run on 1st and 15, and now you set yourself back with the seal of procedure play.
Sold out crowd making an impact here at Syracuse. Morris is dragged down by Leon Lowry.
Well, just a good job of having a stunt. You're going to have a wrap underneath, and that wrap underneath by Leon Lowry, you're just going to get him free. You get a free runner on MJ Morris, and now you've got a true freshman quarterback backed up on 3rd and forever with a loud environment, and that NC State, that's probably how Dave Dorn feels right now.
Tim Beck as well. Midway through the 2nd quarter. Morris to the air, takes a deep shot down the field, incomplete. Darryl Jones, the intended target. Tim Beck and Dave Dorn told us there is a deep shot in the playbook for MJ Morris.
And he had him. It's a double move, kind of double move by both guys, and he ends up getting Jones beyond the defense. Little stutter, and he slips him inside, and if he will keep this ball in play, there's a chance it ends up being a touchdown. There's the stutter, gets inside. Just keep it in the field of play, and Darryl Jones able to make a play on the ball. I'm telling you right now, that is one of the biggest mistakes young quarterbacks make. Let your guys have a chance to touch the football. That's just a long foul ball, Mike. Just throwing it out of bounds, you have no shot.
Shane McDonough was under pressure. Trevor Pena stretches it out wide, and it'll be great field position with a flag down at the end of the Pena return.
Tackle made by Sean Brown, number 20, flag on the play.
Jeff Heiser, our referee.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 20, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Big shot play was there for the taking for NC State. 6 ranked on ranked games today in college football. 4 games going on today in the ACC. And Tim Hasselbeck, this is a monster matchup.
Monster matchup, and bit of a defensive battle, which we expected.
Great field position, even with the penalty for Syracuse. With 7 to go until halftime. Nothing there for Sean Tucker. Savion Jackson, part of that great front line for NC State on the tackle. Talked about what would be required from the NC State defense. Tony Gibson told us halftime last week, he was furious. He went in there, he busted up a board, gathered himself, and then he cooled off as he talked to his team, and they pitched a second half shutout. Tucker creates to the edge, and Sean Tucker steps out of bounds just inside the 45. He is elite.
Listen, sometimes you're just a good football player. Garrett Schrader becomes the lead blocker. Sean Tucker decides to wind this one back, and here's Garrett Schrader, and watch him as Tucker winds this back. He's going to go get a piece of Tanner Engel, and to be honest with you, was a little bit surprised he didn't get flagged for a hold.
You love Tucker. You think Austin Eckler as a comp.
I just think that he's got great speed. He's got great balance. He runs with power. What we've seen this year is that he's been really good in the passing game. And yeah, look, that's Austin Eckler for the Chargers. That's what he reminds me of. And I think he's a complete back that can play on every down.
They gave him a 1st down. Sets up 1st and 10 for the Orange. And Schrader off that quick look, nowhere to go. Isaiah Moore, the middle linebacker, 6th-year senior, 5th-year starter. He sniffed it out.
Yeah, this was going to be a double pass. They were going to throw this out to Pena because watch the guys releasing down the field. Schrader just didn't like it initially. But you see guys releasing down the field. That was probably going to be a double pass either to Tucker or to Oronde Gadsden, and something about the look that Schrader didn't like.
Pena threw a pass earlier this year against Virginia. On 2nd down, Schrader fires. Cooper stayed on his feet. Wiggles free from Tyler Baker-Williams. He gets 8 yards, and it's 3rd down and 2 for Syracuse.
It's just another simple, horizontal flood concept. Get somebody out to the flat, hook somebody up at about 5 yards, and let the quarterback just make the read on the flat defender. And Garrett Schrader seeing that well.
You said it's going to be tough if NC State defensively is always facing these 3rd down and shorts for Syracuse. They need 2. Schrader with a 1st down conversion again. Boy, sometimes he just seeks out the contact.
He does, and they just widen the defense by faking the toss to his right. Widen the defense and then follow a lead blocker up inside, and he's a physical enough runner, Mike. He just is falling forward, and by doing that, he's kind of chipping away at this NC State defense.
Rushed for 94 yards against Louisville in week 1, 83 yards against Purdue, and quarterback run has been a problem for the NC State defense this year. Incomplete, intended for Cooper. Tariq Pitts, the 6th-year senior, in coverage.
Yeah, and if you just think about, Schrader and his ability to run, think about some of the challenges that have hurt this NC State defense. DJ Uiagalelei, obviously, a couple of touchdowns in that game. We saw Jordan Travis a week ago have success, tucking it and running it. Had a 70-yard scamper, and so, yeah, I think that is clearly part of the plan for Robert Ernai. It's been something that's been a challenge for the Wolfpack defensively.
Seemed like Tony Gibson was more worried about Schrader running than Tucker running when we chatted with him yesterday. Schrader keeps, breaks the tackle, and Garrett Schrader using his legs with a 1st down.
Yeah, and plays like that are why he probably was more concerned about Garrett Schrader running. Look, they have him accounted for. Really, it's just a bad job of, I believe that was Isaiah Moore, just kind of gets upfield too far, and then he's not able to make the tackle, because just because you're there doesn't mean you're going to get him down. At 6'4", about 230 pounds, you can't arm tackle Garrett Schrader.
7 yards a pop on the ground for Syracuse, and now the 8th play of the drive, trying to go up 2 scores before halftime. Schrader toward the end zone, tipped and incomplete into some traffic.
Yeah, that's just a bad read, and Jakeem Harris probably should end up here. Here's Harris. He's going to they're trying to run a double post inside him, but he doesn't fall for it, and he just runs right past Cooper. And had he seen it, because that ball is going to Gadsden on the outside, had Harris really understood it and seen it, chance he picks that football off.
Couple huge picks from the Pack defense late in the game last week. Schrader, plenty of time. Schrader to the end zone, and that is intercepted. Tanner Engel in the end zone.
Well, we saw it a week ago. The NC State defense coming up with a huge play late in the game. And I wonder if Garrett Schrader thought that he had a free play. Seems to be some confusion. The Syracuse offense walking off the field. Garrett Schrader aggressive with the football. Tanner Engel says not so fast. Huge interception, huge catch. But there's Devin Van at the top of the screen, and he flinches, and I think that flinch made Garrett Schrader think that he had a free play, but referees decided he's not in the neutral zone, and Schrader maybe too aggressive with the football, thinking he had a free play.
Just his 2nd interception thrown this season. Gives it back to NC State, coming up on 3.5 to go in this 2nd quarter. Delbert Mims in at running back to start this drive, with Jack Chambers at quarterback for the Pack.
Yeah, Chambers back in after seeing MJ Morris, and I think because this could turn into potentially some type of end of half drive, Chambers and his experience, it makes sense to have him out there.
If you're just joining us, Devin Leary is out for the season. Partially torn pec muscle, suffered last weekend. He's headed for surgery on Tuesday. Chambers, screen left side for Mims, and defended well by Syracuse. Snuffed it out with Deuce Chestnut.
Tony White, defensive coordinator for Syracuse kind of said to us, look, different quarterback, we expect to see a similar offense, and the screen game is still a huge part of what they want to do.
We get a Syracuse timeout with 2:46 to go ahead of third down. All right, let's take a look at today's Aflac trivia question. Ernie Davis, a legend here. He won the Heisman in 1961. The only other Syracuse player to finish top 2 in the voting is who?
It's a good one. I'm going to be honest, though, Mike. Kind of gave it away in our meeting this morning, so I'm not going to go there. But
that's what happens when production meetings take over.
I would say this. It would not have been my guess. I'll be honest. It would not have been my first guess.
Okay. Anticipation builds here at the JMA, though. Get to the answer coming up. Sound effects and all. NC State is 0 for 5 on third downs here in this first half. Penalties were an issue in a vocal environment at Clemson and again here on the road today. Chambers with time, now under pressure. Chambers takes off, and Jack Chambers tumbles down right toward the line to gain, maybe enough for a first down.
And I think he's just short. Like I thought he was going to work with their Thomas kind of working with them. I think it was a smart decision not to throw this football. I think he's just short of the line to gain. Yeah, that elbow down shy of the 30-yard line. And look, I think it was a nice timeout by Syracuse after second down to preserve some time. Probably anticipating that the ball may stay on the ground to leave enough time for your offense to not be in too much of a hurry at the end of the half.
You talked about Tony White and what his expectations were defensively. Told his team 3 keys. Defend the run, screen game like you said, and we got to get off the field on third down.
Yeah, and when there was still some mystery about who was going to be the starting quarterback, he just said, hey, they're going to run their offense. That's what they're going to do, and it doesn't mean things won't be different, but ultimately we have to prepare to play this NC State offense, which was going to be heavy run game, and then depending on the quarterback, some quarterback runs mixed in. But yeah, the screen game, a big part of it. So that's a big stop defensively for his crew, and you know, yet another 3 and out for this defense.
Watch the ball is the message there from Tony White.
Yeah, listen, watch the ball, and I don't think there's any shot that you are in a situation where you would go for it.
.229 to go. Trevor Pena ready to get it back for Syracuse.
Number 2, Syracuse is now number 92. 2 switch to number 92.
I's dotted, T's crossed. All right, Shane McDonough ready to punt it away for NC State. Booming kick sends Pena, wearing 92, back to his 15. And sturdy coverage from NC State. Long field coming up for Syracuse. Hey, coming up on the Auto Owners Insurance Halftime Report, Jordan Cornette, Eric McLean, EJ Manuel, and the coach. They'll get you up to date on all of today's action here in the ACC, Miami, Virginia Tech, and then a look ahead to tonight, Florida State and Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, and the Florida State-Clemson one has got, a lot of eyes on it, and rightfully so when you think about Florida State. Disappointing loss a week ago, in position to win the game, but athletes kind of up and down that roster, I think actually match up fairly well against Clemson.
So just over 2 minutes left for Syracuse before halftime, and there is nothing doing for Sean Tucker. If you're NC State, you get a stop here, you go into halftime down by 7. Dave Doran will take that.
I think there's no question he would take that, especially because offensively they've been able to do nothing. I think, make some adjustments there. Probably pleased with how his defense has responded after that first drive.
Pack gets the ball to begin the second half as well. Schrader flushed, he throws, downfield and caught! What a catch by Aronde Gadsden into plus territory over Cyrus Fagan.
NC State just not able to cover Gadsden with one player. Fagan has got tremendous position on Gadsden. Gadsden just says, I'm going to go up higher than you to catch his football.
36 yards to Aronde Gadsden. Schrader, and that is intercepted. Aiden White in coverage as Schrader took a shot up the sideline, and NC State's defense comes up huge again.
And Robert and I can't believe it. It's a double move to the top of the screen. Basically what's going to happen, a double move, but here's Aiden White. Doesn't fall for it, and then he gets inside, and then he gets his head around. And that good collision, good job finding the ball, and then Aiden White turning back inside. It's really good. I think Robert and I, having some words with Garrett Schrader about maybe that's not where you wanted to go with the football, and he can't believe it.
11 interceptions now this season by the NC State defense. Came into the weekend top 10 in the country in that category. Jordan Houston with some running room on first down, under 90 seconds to go until halftime.
And the fact that a timeout hasn't been called here, I think signals exactly what you were just saying, Mike, prior to that turnover, that Dave Doran's probably going to be happy going into halftime, just down 7.
Houston got a late handoff give there from Chambers. Brings up third down. Dave Doran told us last night that he told his team, pack your grit to come here and win a game that was going to be played just like this first half has.
I'm somewhat surprised that Syracuse didn't just use another timeout there. You almost have a bobbled handoff between a new quarterback in the back and just letting this run down to around 10 seconds. Bit of a surprise.
They kicked a field goal earlier when maybe they could have gone for it, and here Syracuse lets it tick all the way down to around 13 seconds.
First charge timeout, NC State. 30 seconds.
Well, while we have a moment, the answer to today's Aflac trivia question. So Ernie Davis won the Heisman in '61. Don McPherson in 1987. The only other Syracuse player to finish top 2 in the voting behind Tim Brown. And you think about 1987 and how good a season it was for Syracuse, which that year they started 5-0. 5-0 start this year as well, and a big one against West Virginia that season.
31-30. They look for the 2-point conversion. Donnie McPherson looks to put it in. Owens goes in. The Orangemen take the lead, and the fans are on the field. And the Syracuse University Orangemen finish the season 11-0.
Michael Owens on the option. They went for 2, Tim.
McPherson, remember, there's no fear. Not McPherson, McPherson.
And Dick was speechless afterward. Chambers He converts and gets it out toward the 35, headed toward halftime in a 10-3 game. Play was blown dead before the ball popped out from Chambers.
Second timeout, NC State. 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised because of where they are that Dave Doeren would take another timeout right there. You see him talking to Tim Beck about, what the decision is here. Midfield where you could reach the end zone, maybe an opportunity to go throw one up, sure, but would not surprise me even after taking the timeout here, just to kind of make sure everybody's on the same page, potentially even just to take a knee.
I mean, this defense yet again for Dave Doeren has stepped up here on the road.
I mean, really impressive. Obviously doing a good job of just turning the football over. Harris almost had one, and then they end up getting one from Engel in the end zone. Just an absolute huge stop. And then it's White doing a good job of not falling for the double move, turning back inside. And Dave Doeren was so excited about it. He was down there to greet White.
From the 34, in the final 5 seconds, Chambers is stacked up by Derek McDonald, and it sends us to halftime here at the JMA Dome. NC State will get it to begin the second half, and Syracuse, boy, fast start, but NC State has this in a one-score game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, their last 3 trips into NC State territory, they...
With us in a moment, and 7-point game after all that for NC State.
Well, you mentioned the 6 drives, Mike. 4 of those drives were 3 and outs, and so I think when you look at the fact that it's a one-score game for Dave Doeren's Wolfpack team, it's because of that defense. They were remarkable. You mentioned it, coming up with the turnovers. Really, that's been the difference in this football game. That's why it's still close.
And they get the ball to begin the second half. Down to Kelsey a moment ago with Dave Doeren.
Coach Doeren, offensively, you knew there would be some kinks to work through with your quarterbacks, but it's a one-possession game. What'd you say to your offense?
We need to quit hurting ourselves. The pre-snap penalties got us behind. It's got to go play fast. The guys got to be aggressive. You can tell they had a bye week. They presented a lot of different things to us. We know the plan. Made some good corrections. Just got to go execute now.
Defensively, your guys have come up with some big-time stops. How important did you tell them it is that they keep that intensity in the second half?
Yeah, and we need to score on defense. We're going to have to take it up a notch. It's a good team. It's going to be a great game.
Thank you, Coach.
Should be a fun second half indeed. As we start this third, Jack Chambers, again, the 6th-year senior walk-on transfer, and at quarterback, he gives it to Jordan Houston. Tavon Darton the tackle, a lot of running to be expected again from the Pack in the second half.
Yeah, and it's something we saw from them a week ago against Florida State when they were down. And so now down just 7, and then the quarterback situation the way that it is, I would expect a lot of running. And then also, you hear Dave Doeren say, look, Syracuse coming off a bye week. We saw some different looks. Now we can kind of regroup at halftime. Let's see what kind of adjustments they've made.
No Garrett Williams out there for Syracuse at corner. We have not seen him since he got injured in the first half. Chris Tootle, the tight end, with a grab. He gets a couple of yards. 3rd down and manageable. Derek McDonald, the tackle.
Mike, you just said it, 3rd and manageable, and that ends up being the key. You heard Dave Doeren talking to Kelsey about pre-snap penalties kind of hurting our offense. If they can live in this environment, they have a chance to claw back.
Nearly 50,000 here at the JMA Dome. Dave Doeren told us Jack Chambers actually has a louder voice than Devin Leary, so they felt like it would help in this environment. They practiced with maximum crowd noise all week back in Raleigh. Houston motions. Chambers on a draw. Gets ahead, and Jack Chambers with a 1st down with his legs to start this drive.
It's a good call by Tim Beck. As they end up motioning out of the backfield with Houston, you get Mikel Jones goes with him, and when that happens, you have the box count that you want, and you're able to run the football with the quarterback. Good play call, good sense of what the defense is trying to do to pick up the 1st down.
We've seen MJ Morris for only a handful of snaps in this one for NC State. Time for Chambers. He unloads too tall for Thayer Thomas, who had some room in the middle of the field.
Yeah, he definitely had some room. And Thayer Thomas, the beginning part of the season, had been kind of Mr. Everything in the passing game, and a bit of a void in that defense. As a shorter quarterback, it is harder to get the ball up and down over the linebackers, but down in front of the safeties, and just overshoots Thomas.
First time that NC State on first down has thrown the football. So took a shot there after Chambers had the first down with his legs. And now second down and 10 from the 35. Chambers off a pump fake, being chased by McDonald down the field, incomplete. He wanted Darryl Jones, and now it's third down and 10 after a couple of passing plays.
Yeah, a couple of passing plays. They try hard play action, try to get a shot down the field to Jones, and it was an excellent job at Derek McDonald, who's in the lineup now at linebacker for Syracuse, pursuing, not allowing the throw to get off down the field to Jones. And now you get these third and 10 screen game, certainly be in the mix here for NC State.
Houston, the running back. Justin Barron, the rover for Syracuse, showing some pressure. And now the Orange adjusts defensively. Play clock at 5 for Chambers. Syracuse brings 3. Chambers gets free and finds his man over the middle. Chris Tootle, as they loosen the reins on Jack Chambers, he steps up with a big-time throw for 21.
That's a great job of Chambers, because Syracuse is trying to wrap a defender. It's JT Gear that they're trying to wrap around to come free as the free rusher. But it's Chambers' ability to escape, even when there's a free runner, which allowed for him to have some time down the field. And it's a big conversion for the Wolfpack offense. We'll see him on the other side of the break. Syracuse trying to force Jack Chambers to escape to the right and wrap around with JT Gear to make the play. It's just Jack Chambers' ability to extend the play that was so critical, and then as he escapes, he's able to buy himself enough time to find Chris Tootle, who just settles down and works for his quarterback. What a huge conversion on third and long.
Longest play of the game, 21 yards there for NC State. Already 31 yards on this drive. Chambers on a draw, good gain on first down. And you talk about Jack Chambers throwing the ball. We kept hearing yesterday, this guy's got an incredible personality. He's been telling Tim Beck, Coach, I got this, we're good. We talked to Jack this week, he said, I didn't throw it last week because of the way the game situation was. He's letting it loose a bit here.
Yeah, he's letting it loose, and I tell you, there's such confidence in him from Tim Beck, from Dave Dorn, that, Dave Dorn even said to us, he was money at practice on Thursday, and look, I'm not gonna put too much pressure on him. I'm just gonna stay out of the way, and he really feels like the team has responded to him, and the offense certainly is on this drive.
Second down and 3. It's Houston on a stretch play and a first down. He lowers the shoulder on Elijah Clark, now wearing number 5, had been 10. It's 7 yards for Houston.
Yeah, 7 yards and a hard 7 yards. Houston had always been kind of a scat back, a guy who play in space, but as he's become the starting tailback, he's run and finished with good power. And I think that, we've kind of gotten a little bit of a glimpse of what NC State wanted to do, kind of vacate the backfield at times, see if that brings a linebacker. If it does, we're going to see quarterback runs, stay on schedule, and try to pound Houston.
Big-bodied formation with Josiah Previllan and Chris Tootle in for the Wolfpack. It's Houston running again, dragged down by Marlowe Wax, the linebacker, and the redshirt sophomore from Baltimore. Well, Garrett Williams is not in his pads anymore. Hobbled off the field in the first half, the stud quarterback who has been a big play machine this season.
Yeah, he's somebody that Tony White says brings calmness and confidence in big moments. Garrett told us he worked really hard doing it this offseason to make sure that he was ready for the big moments. When he came out of the tent in the first half, he was on the bike for a long time, kind of grimacing, looked like something with his right leg, guys, but bad news.
That was the play he got injured on, Kelsey. Now the 10th play of the drive for the Wolfpack offense. And again, it's Houston, and this is the recipe, Tim, that you said it would be for NC State out of the half.
Listen, it's the recipe, and you think about this as well. We showed it earlier, the size discrepancy between the offensive line for NC State and that defensive line for Syracuse. And guys up front for NC State just doing a good job of getting movement right now, creating some creases and seams for Jordan Houston.
Quick throw left side, Thayer Thomas. He creates, and another positive gain on first down, this time 8 yards, tackled by Wax.
Yeah, and it's just pound away inside, pound away inside. Syracuse dedicate more guys in there to try to stop the run. Now spit it outside, and it's essentially like run and toss sweep, only you're doing it to a wide receiver in Thayer Thomas.
One of the all-time great wide receivers in NC State program history. He's on the sideline here, ahead of 2nd down and 3. Dino Babers wants it even louder. That snap goes past Chambers, and Houston falls on it. Almost disaster for NC State.
Yeah, they just was winding down, and it was, kind of getting frantic, and I think he just gets surprised with the football. Grant Gibson just snaps the ball earlier than Chambers wanted it, and by doing that, catches the quarterback off guard, and ultimately what happens is find yourselves going backwards.
You are already within field goal range for Chris Dunn. Deafening on 3rd down and 14. And movement before the snap.
Yeah, so listen, right tackle, and quarterback, to be honest with you, going early here. You see Chambers leaning, you get Tim McKay, right tackle, leaning. The noise has been a factor, Mike, plain and simple. It's been a factor early in the football game, and now here in the 3rd quarter. Got to try to get some of it back, just make it an easier field goal attempt.
Dave Doran told Kelsey can't have the pre-snap penalties. Couple of them here. Chambers does get some of it back to the 25, so about a 42-yard field goal for the always reliable Chris Dunn.
Yeah, and I think that getting it back and then, getting some of it back and then getting some of it back into the middle of the field was all you're trying to do on 3rd and forever after, the miscommunication on the snap and then the pre-snap penalty.
Chris Dunn said this week he feels like he's getting into more of a zone than he has in the past. From 42 yards, and Chris Dunn is nails. Flag flies in at the end of it, right in the direction of the kicking setup for Chris Dunn. Syracuse might have ran into him. So they decline it. Microphone obviously dead for Jeff Heiser. But the field goal good for Chris Dunn. The lead is 4 for Dino Babers. Families of those 3 players honored at halftime. We were chatting with Sean Tucker this week. He said on a recruiting visit in 2019, he got to meet Floyd Little and how special that was for him.
That's pretty cool. It's a good way to land a star running back, and also cool just the history of some of these programs to know, a number so identified with the football program, and definitely the case with the number 44 here at Syracuse.
It was pretty cool meeting Donovan McNabb yesterday as well, right outside Dino Babers' office.
McNabb, he's here for Parents Weekend. He's got a daughter on the basketball team here at Syracuse.
What a nice guy. 4-point game midway through the third. Trevor Pena back in number 2, and he gets blasted. Devin Boykin in coverage down to Kelsey.
Well, you guys are just talking about Sean Tucker and the impact he has on this team. He's running out on the field now, but he does have some kind of new wrap on his left leg. It's underneath his sock. You can see that white area right between his pads and his sock on that left knee area. No, he got dinged up in the first quarter and saw him a couple of other times looking like he was kind of favoring that right leg. So good to go, but definitely something to keep an eye on.
In the Virginia game and in the Wagner game, he got dinged up as well. He gets it here on first down, dragged down by Peyton Wilson, an elite running back, the All-American.
And it does feel like, you know, he's kind of playing through some stuff, some nagging things. And that's one of the things about, you know, you don't always know what everybody's fighting through. And I do think that Tucker, who certainly takes a pounding with the position he plays, definitely kind of fighting through some bruises and some things to get ready each week.
Tucker twice on the ground to begin this first possession for Syracuse, and Corey Durden, the nose tackle, makes the stop to bring up third down.
Yeah, now, you know, you get a known passing situation. You've got a quarterback in Schrader that's made a couple of bad decisions in the first half, and I think this is playing right into NC State's hands defensively.
19, Arande Gadsden has been the big target for Schrader. Under pressure, Schrader gets rid of it to Tucker, who tries to get to the edge. And Sean Tucker does just that. Boy, he is special.
And let me tell you something, that's why I said earlier, Austin Eckler, Schrader's in trouble, finds his way to Tucker, and then when he gets Tucker this football, I think he's gonna get tackled. But instead, it's just his ability to turn the corner with speed. On defensive backs, that's why they pick up the first down.
You saw him have a huge receiving game in week 1 against Louisville.
Yeah, and I think the uptick in receiving is certainly going to help his prospects at the next level.
Picks up a blitz here. Schrader under heat, and Schrader throws it incomplete in the vicinity of Courtney Jackson.
Yeah, and this is what I mean about Tucker's ability and just speed, you know, kind of running through angles. You get him out here, he's kind of corralled there. Well, Drake Pitts is there in position, and then that's there Drake Thomas, you know, who's there, kind of seemingly makes nearly every other play for this NC State defense, and he's not able to get to him. That's why he's a special player.
All of our ESPN draft experts say he is a top 5 running back prospect for the draft in the spring. Gadsden across the middle, nearly stayed on his feet. Tyler Baker-Williams just tripped him up after a gain of 20.
And NC State comes with a pressure. Because they come with a pressure, Baker-Williams is man-to-man on Gadsden. It's a matchup that they like, but man coverage, you see the pressure that's picked up, and if Gadsden's able to kind of pick his feet up enough to get out of this, he was going to score.
Tyler Baker-Williams just back after missing the last 3 with an ankle injury. Tucker on a swing pass, navigating, and he gets spun down by Aiden White. So we talked about the big 3 offensively for Syracuse. That's exactly what it has been for them offensively.
You know, and Robert and I think he's just done a good job. He realizes that Schrader is a heck of a player and, you know, find ways to use him. Tucker has been a proven player. They are also using him more in the passing game. And then Gadsden, basically, look, when they throw it to him, they complete it. And so he's created opportunities for Gadsden.
He's got 6 for 109 here in the third quarter. Schrader on a keep. He's got the first down. Tanner Engel takes him down, and Syracuse keeps driving.
Yeah, they're driving because the Syracuse offense has the defensive NC State kind of off balance right now. You know, it's a fake jet sweep, but it ends up being quarterback power. And I think that, you know, with how Robert and I is calling this game, using the players that he trusts, it's more than enough.
Schrader, time to throw. Now rolls and scanning, and he throws and nearly got intercepted for a 3rd time. Tariq Pitts couldn't hang on.
Yeah. Jason Beck, the quarterback coach, is kind of telling him to calm down as he comes to the sideline. Look, he's got all kinds of time as he escapes outside. Thomas's pursuit on him kind of makes him feel like he's got to throw it away. And if you're going to throw it away, throw it into the third row instead. Pitts nearly picks that ball off, and Garrett Schrader really fortunate he didn't throw another one.
Devin Boykin, helmet off. Last week's hero goes to the locker room. Yeah, we talked to Schrader this week, asked him to evaluate his own play. He said, I've taken care of the football. Well, that's been a problem for him today. Tucker on a bobble. Whoa, nearly lost it. Turns it into something. Things getting a little bit dicey these last two plays for the Orange.
Miraculously, that he turns it into something because Savion Jackson is unblocked right in the hole where they're running that football. And it hadn't been secured yet. I think Robert Hernay right now is like, all right, everybody take a deep breath. We're down here in scoring territory again, and as we've been here earlier in the game, we haven't taken care of the football.
Tucker on the sideline on 3rd down and 6 for Garrett Schrader. Plenty of time. Schrader climbs the pocket and takes off past Wilson. Schrader inside the 10. Schrader for a touchdown. Flag on the field at the 10-yard line. Perhaps a hold downfield.
It is a hold, and it's going to end up coming back.
Holding, offense, number 19. 10-yard penalty.
You know, what's interesting is, you saw all the time that Garrett Schrader had. It's because it was just a 3-man rush, Isaiah Moore spying Garrett Schrader. Isaiah Moore ends up leaving because the tight end leaks out, and then Peyton Wilson just underestimates the speed of Garrett Schrader. So that holding penalty obviously takes away the touchdown, but a 3rd and 1 down in the red zone.
Syracuse coming into today, 10 penalties per game, the most in the country.
And just look at the right side of the screen on the escape. So Schrader's gonna escape outside the pocket.
Schrader keeps it, and Schrader brought down near the line. We'll see the mark here. Drake Thomas and Savion Jackson, the tackle. Looks like a 1st down.
Yeah, and that's why you have a big, tough runner at quarterback. You'll give him the ball on 3rd and short, and really wasn't blocked all that well. He's able to find his way for the 1st down.
Boy, one possession aside here in the 3rd out of halftime. Some long, sustained drives from these teams. And now it looks like they will have a look at the spot with 2:15 to go in this 3rd. Did Schrader indeed get this 1st down for Syracuse? There was short there of a 1st down.
You know, what's interesting is his right knee is on the heel of one of his linemen, but his shin is probably down, and even still, ball gets kind of moved back to the 18.5-yard line, and now it's 4th and short for the Orange offense.
Schrader under center. Schrader on a sneak. He converts. And this lengthy drive continues after 12 plays.
Yeah, it's a good job of Schrader just finding the soft spot along that defensive line. Doesn't go right behind the center as they're pinching it in. Able to get out closer to his left tackle to pick up the 1st down.
Some heavy breathing on both sides. Syracuse in the red zone. Schrader looks left, wants Gadsden, got him for a touchdown.
It's another good job of Robert Hernay of designing plays to get his best players open to create opportunities for him. He talked to us about targets to completions. Like when the ball is thrown your way, do you catch it? And that's exactly what Oronde Gadsden does, and Garrett Schrader's able to find him.
They list Oronde Gadsden as a tight end. He told us it's called flex Y in this offense. We said, are you a wide receiver? He said, yeah, I consider myself a wide receiver. And he caps that off as we tell you today's Food Lion food for thought. Oronde Gadsden makes it a 2-score game.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Keep your eyes down here. This official pulls the flag out of his pocket. I think he felt like there was 2 players moving at one time. For whatever reason, between the pocket and the time to release out of his hands, he doesn't throw the flag. And with that happening, Oronde Gadsden ends up finding his way free. And as he finds his way free, the Orange find themselves into the end zone.
Oronde Gadsden II, his father, Oronde, 6 years in the NFL, a wideout for the Dolphins, played with Dan Marino. He had some famous one-hand catches. We talked with Oronde this week. He said, he's taught me so many things. He's been at a handful of the games this season, and he has watched his son have a breakout.
And, you know, Oronde Gadsden II, they talk about him as having amazing hand-eye coordination, just does a great job of tracking the football, and then just football IQ. So whether you want to say he's a tight end, a wide receiver, like you name it, the reality is he's a good football player who knows how to get open, use his size, and then he plays the football when it's in the air, as well as maybe anybody that we've seen this season.
He said he started watching the Virginia film, where Robert and I was last year. They told him to watch Keaton Thompson. He said, am I going to be running it and throwing it? Well, he's been catching it. Let's go down to Kelsey.
Yeah, we asked him what he thought of Coach Anai, and he said he didn't think he'd be as hard on us as he ended up being, but he said every practice he is so deliberate, has goals for us, and he has really high expectations, and he expects the best from us. And guys, I think it's safe to say that Oronde is in Coach's circle of trust. It's something that Dino Baber says Coach Anai talks about as wide receivers. He says if you're reliable, if you make plays, if you have that target to catch ratio, like you said, target to completion, then you're on his list. Oronde Gadsden definitely in the circle of trust for Coach Anai.
Kelsey, he's got the lead at 17-6 for Syracuse on NC State in this top 20 matchup late third quarter. NC State back with it. Chambers, he takes off again, and Jack Chambers turns it into something. Now, NC State, even when it goes on sustained drives, it's only ending up with 3 points.
Yeah, and that's the thing, finding your way into the end zone. So they're going to have to find a way to manufacture something in terms of getting points other than kicking field goals, because it's been a struggle when they've gotten down in tight. They are a team that likes to have gadget plays. It may take a gadget play to score a touchdown.
Final minute of the third quarter here at the JMA Dome. They motion it out for empty again, and here's Keon Lesane with a reception for a first down out to the 40.
Yeah, they motion to empty, and Mikel Jones vacates. I thought the quarterback draw was coming. Instead, they're going to let Jack Chambers, and I think they have to now, down 11, to throw the football a little bit.
He had his old teammates watching him at Charleston Southern on their bus ride back late Saturday night last weekend, and now he's starting here against a top 20 opponent. Houston, left side, and Jordan Houston ducks down just a yard. Derek McDonald, the tackle, in the final seconds of this third.
I've been impressed with Derek McDonald because he's in for Stephon Thompson and makes a heck of a play there.
Garrett Schrader and Syracuse, 2-score lead on NC State. Tucker and Gadsden helping him out. Last week against Florida State, second major injury for him in 3 years. You feel for Leary, headed for surgery on Tuesday, and behind him, Jack Chambers leading NC State on the road as we start the fourth quarter. Tim Hasselbeck, Kelsey Riggs, Mike Monaco, our entire crew with you. Quick throw, left side, Jordan Houston. who spins forward on second down. Again, third and manageable for the Wolfpack.
I think they're maybe setting up potentially a trick play off of that look. Quad look to the boundary. Jordan Houston there catching it, and they had Terrell Timmons, speedy wide receiver, isolated on the other side, streaking down the field.
Timmons, a guy playing his first collegiate snaps here today inside the Loud House. NC State needs 4. Chambers takes off, and Chambers gets the first down. How about Jack Chambers again with his legs?
And they're just running a little stick route to his left, and he doesn't like it. It's not clear to him. Look at him looking left. He doesn't like it, but he wants to find it. And then it's just a great job of being elusive and doing enough to pick up the first down. Gutsy run by Jack Chambers.
Initially recruited to Charleston Southern by Jamie Chadwell, now at Coastal Carolina, to run the option offense there. He is known for his legs as well. The pack pass midfield. Chambers loads up, throws a dart, and a good catch by the Maryland transfer, Darrell Jones, for a first down and 13.
It's a great job of Jones because the ball's high. He just continues to work back for his quarterback. This ball doesn't come out of Chambers' hand great. You see it, not a tight spiral to it, and it's high. Balls like that often get tipped and picked off. It's a heck of a catch by Darrell Jones.
Without Devin Carter, hamstring injury. Without Demi Sumo Karngbe, ankle injury. Other guys stepping up for NC State here early on in the fourth. Chambers, incomplete. Wanted Timmons, that freshman on the right side.
And just leaves it short, kind of a bad miss, but if you are going to miss, you'd rather miss there than high like you nearly did on the previous play. And look, I think you're in 4-down territory potentially, this entire drive. As you're trying to claw back and you need to get a touchdown, you get on this side of the field, the way it's been a struggle, would not be surprised to see Dave Doran be aggressive on 4th downs if they arise.
Pressure. Chambers, quick throw again. Thayer Thomas on the slant. 3rd down and about 1 upcoming for NC State.
I feel like Jack Chambers is getting a little more comfortable. Just, in the flow of the game, he's taking off with some runs, and now all of a sudden, it's just like playing football again. Just because you're in the JMA Wireless Dome doesn't mean you have to act differently than you did at Charleston Southern, and making some plays in the passing game, which is big for this NC State offense.
He's played at Florida and at Georgia before when he was at the FCS level. 3rd down and 2 for NC State. Draw. Chambers. 1st down and more. Flag on the field as Chambers takes it inside the 10. Run out by Jason Simmons. We check the marker.
Holding, offense, number 15. 10-yard penalty.
It's a brutal mistake. It's going to come on the right side of your screen by Keon Lassane. And at this point here, Chambers got the 1st down. And man, I don't know.
Whoa, I don't know about that.
Isaiah Johnson, I think he just loses his footing. And then they get Lassane with a hold.
6th penalty on Dave Doran's bunch. Reloaded on 3rd down. 3rd and 3. And NC State has to use the timeout.
First charge timeout. NC State. Timeout.
We step aside in Syracuse at the JMA Dome. Today at the JMA Dome, Syracuse by 11 on NC State. Fourth quarter and a big third down coming up for the Wolfpack. They thought they converted with Jack Chambers' legs. Need 3. Quarterback draw again. Chambers met and stopped. Isaiah Johnson with the stick.
It's a good job of spilling it. It's a play they ran earlier. Vacate the backfield and you run, quarterback power basically, and you're going to see NC State go for it again on fourth down.
You said it. You have to at some point get aggressive in 4-down territory. Same formation, 4 to the top side.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a gadget play here out of this quads formation if they get the look they like, which they're maybe looking for right now.
5 and white, Thayer Thomas can throw it. Chambers takes off, and Jack Chambers converts on fourth down.
That's a good job of Chambers using the fake to set up his timing to allow the line to get in front of him. Look at him, that fake out there allows the line to kind of sort their way through the blocks and then know the situation. Get your shoulders up the field to try to fall forward. What a big play. That's the biggest play of his NC State career right there on fourth down.
He is playing his heart out here for NC State. This is only the 3rd drive we have had combined out of halftime. Twelfth play of the drive. They get the snap off, and now a whistle.
For the snap. Second charge timeout. NC State.
1 left with about 10 minutes to go for Dave Doran and the Wolfpack.
ACC Network Football is presented by Subway. Try the all-new Subway Series menu. Your pick of 12 irresistible subs.
Inside the JMA Dome that has been rocking all afternoon. NC State driving down 11. And Jack Chambers trying to orchestrate something. NC State needs a touchdown here.
They do, and that's why, we saw him go for it on fourth down earlier in this drive. Would not surprise me to just say, hey, look, this is 4-down territory. We need to get a touchdown at some point. And at least we're knocking on the door.
First down from the 21. Chambers with time to throw, and a big-time tackle by Isaiah Johnson on a completion to Keon Lassane.
And Isaiah Johnson, who's in for Garrett Williams, who we saw to leave the game after a big hit, does a nice job in the open field on Lassane, and really hasn't missed a beat once Johnson's come into the lineup.
5th-year senior who transferred in from Dartmouth, and in there for Williams. 13th play of this pack drive. Chambers throws it away and found Houston. As he was going down, Chambers makes something out of nothing.
I mean, this is Houdini type stuff here. I think that he is throwing this football away, and Jordan Houston just happens to be in the right spot. Look, you can't take a sack here, and maybe he does see him. Now that's the biggest play he's made in his NC State career. What a play.
Tim Beck said the guy's been a godsend. Maybe God involved there too. 3rd down and 1. Chambers on a sneak. And Jack Chambers moves the sticks. 8.5 to go in this 4th quarter. NC State down 2 scores.
Yeah, and I think that, I said it earlier, I mean, definitely getting into the flow of the game. Now not being so cautious, just letting the instincts take over. And now I think that opens up the playbook a little bit for you, knowing that you've got a quarterback that seems to be comfortable.
Michael Jones is down for Syracuse, their star linebacker. Checking out his right foot. The checks, he goes to the sideline here. Tough to tell exactly what happened, perhaps cramping for Jones. First and goal from the 10 for NC State. And a couple of yards for Jordan Houston. Derek McDonald the tackle. And now Leon Lowry is down for the Orange. Another one of those linebackers.
Well, and the linebackers, you mentioned the heartbeat and Michael Jones. He's a tremendous player. Marlo Wax has been all over the place today, but now, McDonald, who's been in and out of the lineup, replacing Thompson, getting thin quickly at linebacker for the Cuse.
Tony White needs some answers. Up on both sides. Leon Lowry comes out, looked like his right arm. We go down to Kelsey Riggs.
Well, Michael Jones still on the sideline, one of the leaders of this defense. Guys, it's kind of weird. It's almost like his whole body hurts. They were rubbing his legs. They were rubbing his arms. He immediately ripped the wristbands off of his forearms, and they're rubbing his legs. We'll see. He's trying to get hydrated right now, it looks like.
He's out before the 16th play of this drive for NC State. Chambers, end zone, incomplete. Wanted there, Thomas at the back line.
That's an amazing read by Jack Chambers. They're trying to get Houston out of the backfield. He doesn't like it, and he literally gets all the way back to Thomas. Look at this. He goes 1 to 2 to 3. He sees Thomas. That's great anticipation. Face master higher, throw in the back of the end zone. That's a great play by the quarterback. Thomas has got to come down with it.
Chambers giving everything he's got for the Wolfpack. And now third down and goal. Empty again. At times that has meant quarterback draw. And a flag and a pre-snap penalty on NC State.
Ball start. Offense number 5. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Yeah, and that's there, Thomas. And I tell you, there have been probably 6 to 7 opportunities today where the crowd's been a factor. Crowd and communication have impacted this game. And I think that penalty, Mike, I've been saying be aggressive, 4-down territory. But I believe that penalty, unless the ball ends up inside the 5-yard line, now is touchdown or field goal attempt for NC State.
First top 20 game here since 1998, and the crowd showed up in response. Third down. Chambers with time. Chambers needs somewhere to go. And Chambers stays on his feet and now goes down. Jatius Gear got to him.
Well, that's a great job of coverage on the back end by Syracuse in the secondary. And he maybe, as he was extending this play, he's down there because his shin and knee are in the ground. And I'd be surprised the officials stop and look at that, so they end up respotting the ball. But ultimately, it was great coverage on the back end as Chambers was scrambling around.
36 yards for Chris Dunn, trying to make it an 8-point game. There is a flag down as Dunn connects.
Kick is good. There's a flag on the play.
On Syracuse. It was an and goal situation, so long way to go for NC State.
Illegal formation. Defense. That penalty's decline. Field goal is good.
Take the points, take the made field goal. 8-point game with about 7 to go.
And I think that the legal procedure is, they're lined up over the center, which is probably the penalty. And you see the explanation to Dino Babers. Look, it was a promising drive for NC State. The fact that they end up with 3, probably a little bit disappointing for them because they were knocking on the door, which has been hard for them to get deep down into Syracuse territory. But mean, the fact that we, Mike, are inside 7 minutes left in the half in the game, but in this second half, there's only been 3 drives. I mean, that's incredible.
Nuts.
But what is also incredible is that Syracuse has basically been able to bend, not break on those drives that have been sustained and hold NC State to just a field goal.
You saw Dave Doran on the sideline just trying to inject confidence and belief into his group because, boy, they are doing it the hard way these last 2 weeks.
So they are, and look, the crowd, look, credit to the fan base here for Syracuse because they've impacted this football game. Whether it's been getting the offense off schedule or just getting them out of a rhythm, they've had an impact.
Another bad kickoff by Colin Smith. His second of this ball game.
Kicking team will be placed at the 35-yard line, first down.
Hey, coming up tonight, 8 Eastern, it's our ACC Network primetime matchup, North Carolina and Duke. Tar Heels have won 3 straight in the series, and if you haven't seen him yet, Drake May is a stud.
Oh, man, I tell you, he's one of my favorite players to watch and see in person. For such a young player that doesn't have a ton of experience, he has such a bright future. A lot of fun. And listen, Riley Leonard has had a great year as well.
Yeah. Well, 7 to go. Just the second possession in this second half for Syracuse. And Schrader with a burly stiff arm. Tanner Engel, who runs him out along with Peyton Wilson.
I'm glad you pointed out the stiff arm on Tanner Engel. You know, Engel has been described as a human missile, but, you know, Schrader's size and length and able to kind of get that stiff arm kind of keeps him away, and that's a good first down pickup.
What do you want to see from the Syracuse offense in how they approach and manage this game?
Listen, take your time. There's no reason to be in a hurry. You pick up a couple first downs, even flipping the field, you know, it can be considered a victory.
Tucker, couple of yards, 4, and it's 3rd down and short for a Syracuse team off to a 5-0 start. First time they have started that way since 1987 with a win. They get bowl eligible on October 15th.
Which is remarkable. It's been a while since they've been to a bowl game, and the fact that we could be sitting here in the middle of October, and that could be the case. But 3rd and short, would not be surprised to see a sneak like we saw earlier. The big, strong quarterback in Garrett Schrader.
Schrader hands off to Tucker, and Sean Tucker moves the chains. Gets 3 yards. Well, Syracuse trying to get a win here at home. It would be their first ever 3-0 start in the conference. 87, that unbeaten season, of course, and first win versus a ranked opponent at State since the Camping World Bowl 4 years ago.
Look, I don't know if there's a bigger surprise team in college football right now than Syracuse. You know, we get to this point of the season, what they've done, and now, you know, playing the number 15 team in the country. I get it with their backup quarterback, but it's been an impressive turnaround.
And now some trouble with the snap, and a flag with 5:02 to go.
All start. Offense number 47. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And should say still 5:02 to go. There is a lot left in this.
A lot left in this. Mike, you asked a second ago, you know, what do you want to see from the Syracuse offensive line or offense? One thing you can't happen is that pre-snap penalties, you know, at home. They've been a team that, as good as it's gone for them this season, penalties have been a bit of an issue, and pre-snap penalties just unacceptable in this environment inside 5 minutes left in this game trying to protect the lead.
Now they play behind the chains on first down. Schrader keeps it. Trying to get it to the outside. Got a block. And Schrader out of bounds, but there is a flag and perhaps holding.
Holding. Offense number 9. 10-yard penalty. First down. Clock will start on the snap.
Courtney Jackson, the wide receiver for Syracuse.
Yeah, it just gets a little too much of Shaheem Battle, and again, you don't need it.
Savion Jackson is down for NC State. You think about these long drives from a defensive perspective. If it is cramping for Michael Jones, again, we don't know that for sure, but these defenses out there for so long at a time.
Well, and yes, you're exactly right. And you think about Syracuse defense, you know, they've defended 32 plays basically on 2 drives and only allowed 6 points.
Jeez.
Which, you know, means every yard is being fought for. But
8-minute drive, 9.5-minute drive.
And now part of what's happened now is that, you know, Syracuse has basically just given the NC State defense 15 yards, you know, between the procedure penalty and now the holding penalty, and it's given them an opportunity because, you know, Syracuse, you know, wasn't exactly, Syracuse was you know, making yards. You know, Garrett Schrader, a couple good runs, one on first down, then that one there, which was probably going to amount to a first down, and instead they're moving backwards because kind of the self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah, he had led them on a great drive in the third, found Arande Gadsden, who's had the monster game for Syracuse. First down and 22 from the 35 of the Orange with 4.5 to go. Remember, just one timeout for NC State. Schrader to throw. He's flush. Schrader escapes, plants, turns it back, and barely gets back to the line of scrimmage ahead of second down.
That's a great play by Davin Vann. He gets up the field in the hustle. We haven't said his name a whole lot today, but he's had a great season. As Schrader, I think, got confused post-snap, went out to escape. Tony Gibson's crew, led by Davin Vann, do a good job of corralling Garrett Schrader on a scramble situation.
Yeah, Tony Gibson said to us last night, Davin Vann has made a ton of plays, even if it doesn't always show up in the stat sheet. Again, one timeout for NC State. They had to use 2 of them early on in this fourth quarter on offense. Schrader over the middle for Gadsden. That's been his big target all season. 8th catch for Arande Gadsden, and now he is down on the field. Same with Aiden White.
This was a huge collision at the end of the play. You know, Schrader's kind of late getting Gadsden the ball, and he kind of gets so far across the field that the run after the catch kind of leads into contact with Shaheem Battle, and big collision now, third down with Gadsden off the field.
Those 8 grabs you see for 141 yards for Gadsden. Clock ticks toward 3 to go before third down and 9. The Wolfpack needs a stop. And now a flag. 3 of them. Boy, this has gotten sloppy here.
Legal snap. Offense, number 52. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Third penalty of this drive by Syracuse. You see the center, Carlos Vettorello, super experienced in the middle of that offensive line.
You know, if Syracuse not able to convert here, it's no fault but their own because of the penalties. And I think NC State's fortunate on probably what could have been a targeting call on Shaheem Battle. Surprised that game wasn't stopped to look at it.
Schrader on third down. Climbs the pocket. He throws downfield and caught by Damian Olford to the 25-yard line on a missile by Garrett Schrader.
Listen, Olford is going to come and then work with his quarterback, and as Schrader comes out here, the pursuit comes to him, which creates a huge opportunity down the field. And I'm a little bit surprised because you end up getting a block by Max Mang that's down the field. He's blocking down the field as his quarterback is escaping.
Letter of the law is it's illegal if the entire body is beyond the neutral zone when the ball is released. Has to be the entire body to be illegal.
Yeah, and his entire body is not across it in my estimation. I think that right heel is still, behind the line of scrimmage. You go back further than that, Max Mang, who's right here, he's throwing blocks down the field.
5 yards downfield.
5 yards down the field, and that ball is thrown down the field, which obviously you cannot do, and I don't know how that gets missed. Listen, I'm not big on being super critical of the officials here, but we got, a touchdown play where the flag is out of the official's hand, a targeting where I don't know why the game isn't stopped, a block down the field. This has been chaos a bit in terms of things that have been missed.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed.
So illegal forward pass, as was the call initially.
Listen, Max Mang is 5 yards across the line of scrimmage. He is blocking down the field on a play that is a pass that is thrown across the line of scrimmage.
3 yards in the college game.
And so you can't do it. And Mag doesn't know. Mag thinks his quarterback may take off and run.
So, 34 yards to Damian Alford with 2:55 to go, and Syracuse trying to make it a two-score game. Big penalties that have been called, big moments in this second half have decided this.
Yeah, and ultimately, after a few penalties offensively for Syracuse, they're able to get a huge play because Garrett Schrader, just his ability to just kind of continue to fight.
Schrader pulls it, and he's got nowhere to go. Loses 3. Isaiah Moore, the tackle for the Wolfpack. Final timeout for Dave Doran at NC State.
And the challenge is, and they've had it happen earlier, because they had to use 2 on offense earlier in this quarter, that's their last timeout. And is, Syracuse clearly going to try to bleed this thing out. Having to use those timeouts earlier in the game, coming back to haunt them.
Both coaches knew it was going to be this kind of football game here today. Dino Babers, beginning of the week, he said it's going to go 15 rounds. It's going to be heavyweight. He told us yesterday there's going to be a lot of injury stoppages. There's going to be blood on the jerseys.
And it's been that way. It's been a physical football game. We've seen it, and these guys have, on both teams, kind of laid it on the line. Guys, slow to get up, but then back into the game, and probably none more impressive than the 2 quarterbacks that have continued to fight.
2 years removed from 1-10. Now a chance to get to 6-0 and bowl eligibility. Already ranked in the top 20 in the country. NC State out of timeouts. 2:27 to go. Syracuse on the ground with Tucker to the edge, to the end zone. Sean Tucker from 25 yards out.
Listen, here's the deal. That's a touchdown, and that's great. That's the wrong play. At this situation with no timeouts left for NC State, going down and ending the football game with the ball in your hands is the play. Look, it's a great job in terms of the read on the run, and Garrett Schrader gets a block for him, but the play there is to not score. The game's still alive because he scores, and Syracuse has to kick off.
And yes, a tall road ahead, but Sean Tucker takes the touchdown, goes into the end zone with 2:20 to go. Andre Schmidt good on the point after, and it's 24-9 Syracuse.
Listen, they're all moving this way, and it's a wind-back run. Now watch Garrett Schrader. Like this is why he's just a football-playing dude. Taysom Hill-type stuff. Go get a block on Tanner Engel after the handoff. But I'm going to tell you, Sean Tucker needs to go down inbounds right there. It's an unnatural feeling, but that's situational football to understand. No more timeouts left for NC State. You have an opportunity to just seal the game and not give them an opportunity to get the football back.
Devil's advocate, you can understand the emotion when you see that open field in front of you and 50,000 about going nuts here all afternoon.
Mike, yes. The difference is there was a stoppage in play. You have a chance to address it with your team.
Yep.
If it was in a sustained drive and you don't have the opportunity for the sideline to be able to look at everybody and say, hey, look, this is what we're trying to do. We want first downs, but we don't need to score. That should be communicated.
All right, so 2:20 left. NC State without a timeout, down by 15. What offensively needs to happen as they got to score twice?
Yeah, you need chunk plays now, okay? And you need to find a way to try to score quickly. So Jack Chambers is going to have to push the ball down the field. The other thing is, I would bring it. If you have a chance for a return, I'd take an opportunity. They certainly don't.
So without Devin Leary, without Demi Sumo Karnbe, without Devin Carter in this game, Jack Chambers has poured everything into this. The 25-year-old walk-on who transferred in from Charleston Southern, with Leary relegated to watching the rest of the season, will try to lead NC State on a couple of scoring drives here late in the fourth. You said it, Syracuse's defense has bent, it has not broken.
It hasn't. They're dealing with some injuries, and they need one more stop.
Chambers. Down he goes. Jatius Gear again, the redshirt freshman.
And Gear's had a good game. He just played with great effort, pursuit, and doesn't get to Chambers right away. And as Chambers escapes outside the pocket, just great effort to the football leads to the sack.
Chambers with some time, directing, and Chambers throws incomplete. Third down.
Part of what happens when you get in these scenarios where guys are sprinting down the field, the receivers get tired. Just like a defensive line gets tired rushing the quarterback, receivers get tired. All the NC State receivers slowly walking back to the line of scrimmage after having just run two deep routes down the field.
Third down. Chambers has a man, Keon Lesane, past the 30-yard line. Sets up fourth down at 2.
Yeah, and you got to know the situation. I think you've got to throw the football. You need to pick up the first down or the game's over. But I think you still need to put it in the air. And they need to go because they need to score twice. This is taking entirely too long.
Already a minute into this drive on fourth down. Chambers. Lesane again. They move the sticks out of bounds with 1:11 to go.
It's a good decision because they're trying to get Rooks on a quick out, but it's not there. And so Lesane behind it on the deeper out. And then obviously getting out of bounds to stop the clock.
Backup quarterbacks on both sides. Jeremiah Wilson, 24, bottom of your screen. We've already highlighted Isaiah Johnson, 20 in blue, top of your screen. Deuce Chestnut is out as well, like Garrett Williams. Chambers takes a shot into double coverage and incomplete in the direction of Keon Lesane. Elijah Clark was back there with Wilson.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of what I mean about guys getting tired. As you see, Lesane is going to end up leaving the field. These guys have been running down the field. You talk about the hard-fought game. I think his receivers for NC State now are tired.
Second down and 10 from the NC State 49.
We have had few stoppages in this second half. 1:05 left in the fourth. Chambers, complete. Porter rooks the grab to the 32-yard line. 19 yards.
And I think Rooks needs to get out of bounds. I get the clock's going to stop, but it's now being winded because it was just a first down, not out of bounds. Rooks got to get out of bounds.
A few more precious seconds come off the clock. Now Rooks again. This time he is out of bounds, lowering a shoulder on Jeremiah Wilson with 45 seconds to go.
To me, 45 seconds, I think you need to take a shot to the end zone because you do need that second possession. And you would like some type of situation where you're not just heaving it from midfield.
Syracuse brings 4. Chambers directing again. Takes a shot to the end zone. Incomplete. Wanted Darryl Jones.
Wanted Jones. Jason Simmons again reading the eyes. You see Chambers directing traffic. Simmons sees it and kind of misjudges the football. Thought he was going to pick that one off to seal it.
How about the resiliency of the Syracuse defense as well? Injury mark coming in. More injuries in this game.
Mike, great point, because it's been at corner, it's been at linebacker. And the defensive line, which is undersized, has got to be gassed.
Tony White's group has been fantastic defensively throughout. On third down, Chambers to the air. Incomplete. Couple of markers in the vicinity of Terrell Timmons. Isaiah Johnson was in coverage.
Pass interference, defense, number 20, 15-yard penalty, first down.
I initially thought that Isaiah Johnson had pretty good coverage, but it's that right hand right there that the official on the back line, on the end line, he sees, and it's that offhand that drew the flag. And it's a pretty good break for NC State because it slows things down a little bit, lets guys catch their breath. And I think from this point of the field, Mike, everything's got to be into the end zone. Nothing outside the end zone in terms of where you're throwing the football for Jack Chambers.
Dino Babers takes his first time out.
Syracuse, 30 seconds.
Well, Syracuse trying to get to the finish line here at home, and we remind you what's at stake. Trying for their third 6-0 start since the 1930s, and the first one since 1987. Trying to win an 8th straight game. Longest win streak it would be since 2001, and we told you the schedule really picks up, including next weekend.
Yeah, I mean, the schedule picks up in a big way going forward for them, and including this game, it's 6 in a row. But after this one, there's 5 games that you're going to need everything you have to come away with a win, and they know it. They're not talking about it, but they are well aware that that's what's in front of them.
I loved the line when we chatted with Garrett Williams this week. He said, we know what lies ahead. We view it, they got to play us. That's the confidence this Syracuse team has had this season. Chambers is blasted by Michael Jones.
Yeah, if you're NC State, you got to hurry. Ball's back here. The linemen don't know where the ball is. You got to hurry. You got to get lined up and run another play.
Jones had to cut short his celebration. Dozen seconds left. Chambers, end zone, incomplete. With 6 seconds to go, intended for Thayer Thomas.
That was a nice play call on the previous down. A third down play. Here's Michael Jones walked up. They had guys walked up in both A-gaps, and he just comes free. And Michael Jones, who Tony White feels like is one of the best, if not the best, inside backer in the country, comes up with a huge play that changes everything for this Cuse defense.
Syracuse trying to finish this thing off. Biggest game here in more than 20 years. Chambers, incomplete. 1 second remaining, and Syracuse about to celebrate a 6-0 start to this season.
And what an impressive 6-0. You know, you think back to the beginning of the year, so many people thought that Louisville was a team that was, you know, had a quarterback that was hard to defend, a good defense, and they handled them. You know, and then a hard-fought win against Purdue, and then to have the number 15 team in the country come into your building, have so many guys go down on the defensive side of the ball. This is an impressive effort by Syracuse.
Final play, Chambers to the air, and it's batted away. Syracuse is 6-0. Bowl eligible, just one bowl.